Good morning, everybody. Today is January 23rd, 2026. It is 10:10 a.m. in the morning. Today is Friday, and this is walk 511. Okay, so today's topic is going to be about the TV show Resident Alien, but let me go ahead and get the treadmill to where I need it to be, and then we'll get started. Well, while we're waiting, I hope you guys are having a good morning. Okay, we're at incline. This will be 14. This will be 15. And now let's see if we can get it up to speed. Okay, that's one. That's 1.3. That's 1.6. That was supposed to be 1.9 and it went back down to 1.7. That's 2. That's 2.2. Okay, one more. That's 2.5. Okay, so let's see what happens. We are at 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And yesterday, I think, was the day where I was supposed to give credit to us for 2 minutes, and I didn't. So the walk was only supposed to be for 38 minutes. And I believe we went all the way to 40 and even a little bit past. Okay, so I'll try and remember that today. Okay, so Resident Alien takes place in Patience, Colorado. The creator is Chris Sheridan. The first episode was on January 27th, 2021. And so far, there are 4 seasons. But I think we've only watched up to the 3rd season. And I think we actually missed parts of the 2nd season. And then the 4th, we didn't even know it was out. So we have to figure out where to find it. Because according to Google, there are 4 seasons, not 3. And I think we just finished season 3 the other day. Okay, so here's the cast. There are a lot of people, and so I'm only going to focus on the main characters. Okay, so Alan Tudyk plays Harry Vinderspiegel. Sarah Tomko plays Ashta. 12 Trees. Meredith Garrettson plays Kate Hawthorne. She's a teacher, and she is the wife of Ben Hawthorne, who is the mayor of Patience, who is played by Levi Filler. I don't know how to say that. Alice Wetterland plays Darcy Bloom, Ash's best friend. Carrie Reynolds. Oh, that says Corey. Sorry about that. I wrote this kind of fast. Corey Reynolds plays Sheriff Mike Thompson. Linda Hamilton plays General Eleanor McAllister. Jenna Lamia plays Judy Cooper. Elizabeth Bowen plays Deputy Liv Baker. Judah Pren plays Max Hawthorne. He is the son of the mayor. Gary Farmer plays Dan Twelvetrees. He is the adoptive father of Asha and an owner of a local restaurant called Joe's Diner. Taylor Blackwell plays, oh, I'm not going to tell you who Taylor plays. She comes in later. I don't even think she shows up in the first season. So you could probably go look her up and from the name guess who she is, but I'll leave her character name out of that. Kalayla Rain plays Jay. She is another important character. You're gonna have to watch, like I said, to find out who she is. Michael Cassidy plays Dr. Ethan Stone. And let me move my pin here. We're at 6 minutes, 20 seconds. Diana Bang plays Nurse Ellen Cho. She's a very unique personality. Her and Harry don't really see eye to eye most of the time. And like I said, there are so many characters that I would probably be in to this video about 15 minutes, maybe 20, if I were to name all of them and to tell you who they were. So I just left that alone. Now we're going to talk about the plot. It's called plot, right? An alien crashes on Earth and hides in a cabin in Patience, Colorado. A remote, small, quiet town with a lot going on. You guys, they have a lot of drama there in that town. His mission is to X out all humans. He assumes the identity of the town doctor, Harry Vanderspiegel. He soon meets Max. Max, and I'm probably going to mention this again at the bottom of the last paragraph, but he's kind of like Dennis the Menace in the beginning. So him and Harry are always butting heads. And he realizes that Max can see his true form. His life is simple at first, but things get complicated when he is asked to help solve a murder. He realizes that he needs to blend in. As he gets to know the people in the town, he struggles with the moral dilemma of his secret mission on Earth, especially after he becomes best friends with Ashta. She points out when he says or does something wrong and why he should care more about people and how he treats them and just about life in general. So he begins to struggle with his natural side. His kind of alien, obviously look what they sent him to do. I don't really know if I would say, well, ruthless might actually be an understatement. They are a very, I don't know if the word would be combative species of alien, but I mean, like I said, look at the mission. But he does. He struggles more and more. And she does this to him. Like, she'll say stuff like, Don't you have feelings? What's wrong with you? Even after, I know I'm ruining part of it, but believe me, there's so much more that happens in all these episodes. This is even after she finds out that he's an alien. So she does find out. And then, I can't remember, I shouldn't say if, but when she sees his true form. Because if I remember correctly, when she finds out, he still looks like Harry. Okay, so let's see, lost my place. I'm reading, I'm looking. Okay, now about Ashta. Ashta isn't a confrontational person, but she will defend Harry as much as he defends her. They form a bond that is the same that she has with her best friend Darcy. And so Ashta has the opposite struggle. Morally speaking, I shouldn't do this, or Harry should not have done that, but what would have happened if we didn't, or he didn't, or I didn't? And they're both super conflicted about it. Her thing is to fight for what you believe in, the people you care about, things like that. And he already has that in his nature to fight, right? Like I said, combat. But now it is due to his, what he calls more human side. And he starts to understand people more. And a lot of the things I think that he either thought or was told, he starts to find isn't true. So some of this storyline is your typical, and I don't know what other words to use, alien show. Okay, so let's talk about what I think about the show. And we're at 12 minutes. Let me drink some water. I did some cleaning this morning, and I can still smell the product. Which is exactly why we try to use products that are hypoallergenic or natural, with a mixture of both. Not to say that those don't have a strong smell, it just wouldn't bother my breathing as much. Okay, so, which is odd, because I'm allergic to like almost everything outside. But I guess you mix some of the stuff together, then I'm fine. Okay, so, I usually explain like if my breathing's not right, and you guys, I think you can tell, that's why. Okay, so anyway, what I think about the show is, number one, hands down, it's funny. So, first off, Harry and I don't even know if I wanted to try to say his name the way his species would say it. Even the short version is really funny. So I won't do it. Eventually, you'll hear him tell people as they start to find out. But a lot of people are like, look, I'm just going to call you Harry. Okay, so the laugh. My husband can do it perfect. It cracks me up every time. I can't do it. I don't even know how to describe it. You just have to hear it. Season 1, you'll hear it. You'll hear it a lot. And it's funny what he finds funny. Okay, because in the beginning, he's still more with his normal personality. So, yeah. And at times, I wrote, Harry is like, I am who I am, which I think I can relate. A lot of us can. And his thing is, okay, you don't want me to do this, Astor or whoever is like, Harry, you shouldn't do that. Even people that don't know what he actually is, or I should say who he is, where he's from, nothing like that. Nothing about his ship, anything like that. But I think I kind of like the fact that he doesn't lose himself. He just starts to, I don't even know if I want to use the word morals. He just starts, he starts to care. And so when you see the side of him where he's like, look, none of us on my planet care, okay? You guys are lucky that I'm trying. And sometimes there's some things that have to be done, and Harry's the one to do them. My lights are flashing. I don't know if you saw that, but that's been happening since this morning inside the house. So hopefully I don't lose power before this walk is over. Okay, so I like that about Harry because sometimes it is you. It's one of those, if I don't do it, or who will, or who is going to do it. So I find that some things that are necessary, a lot of people will say it needs to be done, but some won't do it. And I'm talking about in a positive way, okay? And in this case, for Harry, of course, it becomes the opposite, saving the humans. But his thing is, there might be some things, I have to do that you may not like. And then time. He needs time to do it because remember, he crashed. And so he has to fix his spaceship. And so a lot of the resources he would have, he's working on that throughout the show to get it. And every now and then, he's like, should I really save them? Well, maybe just one person. And of course, it'd be Ashta. And truth be told, I think underneath it all, he likes Max more than he'll admit. But on to Max, like I said, he's like Dennis the Menace. So his thing is the bribery part of it, right? He tries to bribe him. Do this for me, or show me how you do this, or whatever the case may be. And of course, the ultimatum is, or I'll tell people. And I think at some point, I can't remember, but if I remember correctly, Harry's just like, wait a second. You're the only one that can see my true form. So they're not gonna believe you. Plus, add in his behavior, and he's like, why am I worried? So I think he points that out to him, like, you don't really have a good track record of not doing something that causes a problem. And so, what makes you think people will believe you? Especially since they can't see what you can see. They can't see my true form. So yeah, so they go back and forth. Like I said, they butt heads. And over time, I think, Max is a kid, he's young. But I think he starts to mature more throughout the show, throughout the different seasons. And then, ultimately, he does realize, because it gets annoying at some point, so I'm going to tell you guys this, I don't want to ruin this part, but at some point, I don't remember what season, what episode, he does realize how dangerous that would be for Harry if he's told. So he switches to, now I have to keep his identity a secret and help him keep his identity a secret. Because one thing is, if you make him mad, and I know what people say, you choose your reaction. Well, like he says, in his nature to fight. So at that point, there's a couple of times where he's like, I don't really care if they see what I really look like. I mean, I could just fling them across the room. What are they gonna do? Whoever it is. Like I said, especially if they mess with Ashta. And I don't really think that they could at some point mess with Max either. There probably was up to a point to where he was like, look kid, you're on your own. Like you shouldn't have done it. Like let's say he pulled a prank or something. Then Harry was just like, okay, whatever. Nope, didn't see it. I'm going home. My cabin's out in the middle of the woods. It's by a nice lake, pond, whatever you want to call it. Ah, the serene life. And then he thinks about it. So him and Max form a slight little bond. Nothing in comparison to him and Ashley though. Let's see. We're at 20 minutes, 24 seconds. Okay, so I was going to tell you guys more, but the problem is that I'm pretty sure, like I said, we just finished watching all of season 3. And so we're caught up regardless to whatever part of maybe even season 1 that we haven't seen. And I honestly don't remember seeing any of season 2. But I know enough to where, let's just say it said 4 because they are going to make a 4 and there isn't one. You guys would be caught up to speed. If there is a 4, if I knew for sure and had seen at least some of it, I could say, okay, well, even if I tell them all of this, then they still have the whole season 4. But since I don't know for sure if there is one, then I'm going to have to leave it at that. So what I'll do is, maybe I'll tell you a little bit about some of the characters. Because like I said, there's way more that I didn't name. But let me see what I can remember about each person without giving too much of the storyline away from just the overall seasons. Okay, so I told you about Harry and Asha. Kate. Like I said, she's a teacher at one of the schools in Patience. And I don't think they only have one school. I do know they're really small town. But she has a lot going on. One, I would have to say she is pretty controlling. Ben, the mayor, her husband isn't. So she's kind of able to, well, there's no nice way to say it, to push him around, pretty much. He's really nice. It's not that she isn't. She's just more, I don't know if I want to use the word assertive than him, but for the relationship, it's to an annoying point. But somehow, some way, Ben is able to just kind of, I would say, brush things off or hide his feelings. And I would have to say that he's scared to talk to her, to tell her anything. I think he is kind of like Asha, but even less confrontational. So to keep peace, he just kind of keeps everything bottled in. And so at some point, he realizes that he needs to talk to somebody because he feels like he can't talk to her. And I would have to say, she would annoy me. We would butt heads. So, yeah, Kate needs to calm it down. Darcy is a wreck. I mean, good friend, good best friend to Asha, but she was, I don't want to say Olympic, but she was a professional skier, like the ski competitions. And since I said was, if you picked up on that, she Let's just say for a while she's not. Okay, I won't tell you about what happens and if she goes back to it. I'll just tell you for the time being, she's not because she fell. Going down one of the little things they go down, the hill and the course. And so she hurts herself and she's trying to find herself. She's really good at, well, helping other people when they ask for it. But every now and then she'll try to do something to prove her self-worth, and it won't be the best choice to make. And then people start to worry about her. Where did she go? What is she doing? We were supposed to do this as a team. So I guess she's on a path of correction. You know, I failed at this. There's got to be something I'm good at. That's a good thing at times. Often, at times, it isn't. And it causes another problem. So then her and Ashta are arguing. So now Ashta has this type of relationship with Harry and Darcy. Okay, Sheriff Mike Thompson, he's funny, but he's very conceited. Sorry to the actor that plays him, but you're funny on there. And I was trying to think of the other show that we're watching actually right now that he's playing, I think, a detective in. So I guess that's like one of his main character roles that he takes on with acting. I don't know if I've seen him in anything else. And I won't say who my husband had mistaken him for. Not a bad person or anything like that, but the fact is that he only slightly looks like him. I think it's more so the height and the haircut. But his conceitedness just overflows. And the main person that ends up putting up with it is, let's see, where's her name at? Deputy Liv, who is really nice. We'll get to her in a second. And so, might as well tell you because it's ongoing. Even into season 3, he's still like this. If she comes up with a good idea, he'll acknowledge it. He'll say something like, well, see, your hunch led to me solving the problem. And Liv is literally right there with him, or other people. So he is a, what's that word? I don't know what word to use. He likes to hog the credit. But either he's a little more conceited than what he should be, or it's a habit that's hard for him to break, to acknowledge someone else's effort fully, and to just say, thank you for your help. We wouldn't have solved this case without you, especially to Liv. And just overall way he treats her at the office, I'll just say I'm surprised she hasn't quit, because it'd also be something like, go get my coffee type thing. And he would end up making me telling him, I'm the deputy, not your secretary. And you know something, depending on how he would say it to me as a secretary, he might get told to go get his own coffee even then. So Liv is better than me, because I used to somewhat be like her, and I thought a lot, I just didn't say a lot. I felt like if I get mad, then I gotta calm myself down. And I'm that person where at some point I'm not sorry for what I said, because it's the truth. And I know that still doesn't give me the right to hurt people's feelings. and I actually care if it does. So my go-to is to stay quiet. And she's like that too, but like times 10. So it's hard watching her character because it's like, when is she gonna be like, look, with all due respect, respect goes both ways. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, as cocky and conceited as he is, she'll probably be in for an argument, which I know the saying is pick your battles. So I can understand why she doesn't do it, but sometimes it's necessary. And you'll be sitting there like, Liv, are you serious right now? Did he? Oh, I know he didn't. If I didn't quit, at some point, he might fire me. So Liv is, I think, working on, like I said, being more assertive and speaking up for herself. Because other people will tell him, like, that was really rude. Why'd you say that to her? Or, she helped. Or, that's not her fault. You didn't want to listen to her input, and she's your deputy, right? So yeah, a lot of people end up, for a good while in these seasons, sticking up for her. She'll have one-liners here and there, but I don't think she blooms just yet, even with season 3. Okay, so next, General Eleanor McAllister. I'd have to see the picture of that character again. I can't exactly remember who she is without seeing the picture. So, let's see. I'm thinking, let's jump down to Judy. Okay, if Judy's the character I'm thinking of, I could be wrong, but, and usually like if I question something, I'll go research that specific character, and I didn't. I thought, no, her face looked familiar enough for me to be about 80% sure I'm describing the right character. So if it's the wrong character, oops. But she's really bubbly. She drinks a lot. I would have to say that I forgot to mention, I think Darcy does too, but Judy is like Darcy times 3 with the drinking. And she is sweet on the sheriff. Or really, I have to say overall she's just flirtatious anyway. And so she'll flirt with different people, and sometimes, well, most of the time, I'm being nice about it, and let me not be nice about that. She'll know if they're with someone else, or let's just say if they're interested in someone else, like let's say they're dating someone else. And so Judy is, what's that word? I don't know if there's a new word. If there's a new word that's being used now, let me know. But the best way to describe her is thirsty. Judy is thirsty. She needs to turn it down. She's pretty. She is. But she tries way too hard. And she has no filter, which is not good. And I'm not talking about like being blunt, being straightforward. There's a level where you just get kind of over here and she's over there. So that's why I say no filter. It's one thing to be straightforward about some things, but every single thing, like she just says whatever she's thinking, even if it's gross. And people are like, don't want to see all that. Or she's one of those people where she'll drop something like a napkin or like a pen. I'm like, oops. And then bend down and pick it up. So flirtatious may not even be the word. There's probably a word that goes a little bit past that. I was thinking promiscuous, but maybe that means the same thing. So if not, she's past that. and you try to shut her down and kind of show her that you're not flirting back, that you're not interested. And certain people, they'll tell her that, like, you're really nice, but I'm not interested. And she ignores it, especially when she's drunk. So that's Judy. We talked about Liv. Some of them, I think, have some parent problems. The parent not really accepting them for who they are. Darcy's parents, I think, are more, or were more supportive when she was the professional skier. I would have to say Ash's adopted father is great. He gives her a lot of good advice, but the other parents, even I can't remember if Liv's parents shows up, but there's someone else in this story, and you're just like, just don't talk to them. Some people, family or not, sometimes it has to be that way. And I can't think of who else it is. I might think of it before the walk is over. We only have 2 more minutes because I did remember to only go to 38 minutes. Okay, so let's see. We already talked about Dan, 12 trees. Ash's father, like I said, super supportive. Really nice, cooks very well. Harry loves his pies. Harry just loves pies in general. You could be talking like, Harry, look, like that person got into an accident or something. And if Harry's eating pie, then they just crash. He's in a whole different world. Let's see, we have, no, we said that's going to be the person you have to figure out, Taylor Blackwell. You have to figure out who her character is and why Jay, that's her character name, is important who she is. Dr. Ethan, obviously, it's in the name. He was a town doctor as well. So you have to watch to find out what happens to him if he carries on throughout the seasons. It's like my ponytail fell. And like I said, Nurse Ellen Cho, it's just that awkward person, that kind of like whatever type personality. Yeah, ate your yogurt, so what type thing. And so, like I said, her and Harry butt heads. Because she's like that all the time. And I have to say, if you're thinking it, she'll say it. Put the plan liquor in place. The girl don't care. So she's just awkward with it. It'll be a facial expression, or the way she'll kind of look at you, or the way she'll kind of walk away, her posture, things like that. So yeah, really interesting character. Kind of that dry humor. Okay, so I like the show. I think it's super funny. It makes you think about a lot of different things. But overall, it says that it's classified as a mystery, but I think they should have put like a mystery comedy or a comedy mystery to it, because it is a funny show, at least I think it is. Okay, so we're 38 minutes, 49 seconds, and 1.55 for distance, 167 for calories, and I was just thinking, I was about to turn the dial to turn down the speed instead of stopping the treadmill, and that thought came like, no, like, what are you doing? So I lost my train of thought for a second. But you guys, that is it for today. Again, this show is called Resident Alien. And the only thing I forgot to put is what it's on. Yeah. If it's Netflix, Hulu, Prime, I'm not sure. I actually don't remember. So maybe on the next walk, what I'll do is I'll give you guys an update so that I can tell you the different channels or what do you call those? Networks, I guess, that show plays on. But you might actually find out before if this sounds like something that you're interested in watching. So of course that information will be for everybody that just wants to know or wants to know because they want to watch it and you still haven't found it. So I hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to go, and my routine, as you know, is to do my second walk for 40 minutes, listen to some nice peaceful sounds, some waterfalls, things like that. And I will see you guys later. Have a good day. Bye.